How is it going, everyone? I want to give you guys a heads up on a new PlayStation Store sale that should be kicking off tomorrow. It may be Thursday, but it should be tomorrow. And that is the Game Awards sale. We'll talk briefly about that, and then also, I do want to highlight some deals that are currently running right now on the PlayStation Store as a part of the year-end sale. These are more expensive deals, you know, deals north of $20. There's not a lot to mention, so I didn't want to do a dedicated video on it, but we'll get to those in a little bit. First of all, Game Awards sale should be kicking off tomorrow. Now, the Game Awards sale is a little interesting because I was looking back into last year's sale, and we legitimately have a video, and I pulled up this video and I'm like, oh my god, I remember talking about this sale. The Game Awards sale last year was legitimately insulting. The price points on these games were so crazy, and what they were doing is that they would only put like the deluxe editions on sale. So like Metaphor ReFantazia, you know, big game nominated for Game of the Year, they're putting that on sale. But they would put like the worthless special edition that nobody wanted on sale for $75. So please, PlayStation, learn something from the I mean, they don't have to learn anything. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they're gonna sell their games. I mean, there probably were people that saw Metaphor was on sale. Oh my god, the 35th anniversary Atlas edition is $75. I gotta buy it now, and it'll probably happen again. They don't have to do anything, but last year the sale was literally an abomination. So hopefully this year it'll be a little bit better. You know, put Expedition 33 on sale 30% off. Why not? A lot of people will check that out. Coming off the heels of that game probably winning Game of the Year, you know, put that on sale. They're not going to put Yote on sale even though it's nominated, but put Death Stranding 2 on sale, put games like Silent Hill F on sale. You know, there's a lot of games that make sense that should go on sale. So that sale will be running concurrently with the year-end sale that's running right now. The Game Awards sale generally only runs for a couple of days, like it's a 4 or 5 day sale. I'm just hoping it's not the abomination that it was last year. On top of that, the holiday sale is coming up, and that is going to be the big one. If you look at the year-end sale, the year-end sale is going to wrap up on December the 22nd, which is a Monday. Generally speaking, PlayStation Store sales don't end on a Monday, but you want to get that holiday sale up so you'll have, you know, that entire holiday week, you know, leading up to Christmas, which is on a Thursday, Friday the 26th as well, to be selling all of those games that are going to be on sale. You know, people get their consoles, people get PlayStation credit, etc., etc. I'm sure PlayStation's going to make a killing on it, and remember, the holiday sale is a 4-week-long sale, at least historically it has been, where they'll have deals for 2 weeks, and then they'll cycle in new deals for another 2 weeks. So bear that in mind. That'll be a massive sale that'll be kicking off at the end of this month. The Game Awards sale tomorrow, holiday sale, end of this month. Alright, moving on from that, I do want to highlight some of the more expensive game deals that are available as a part of the year-end sale. Expensive as in north of $20. So let's just highlight some of these. We've got Octopath Traveler, which is 60% off for $23.99. I know Octopath Traveler 0 did just come out. That game's being received pretty well. I've got the game downloaded. I'm gonna play it. I know there's been some criticism about the visuals of the game as well. It is what it is, but Octopath Traveler, that is $24. Octopath Traveler 1 was great. It was, for a while, it was only available on the Nintendo Switch, and then it finally got ported to PC, and then it got ported to PlayStation, etc., etc. Game is great. Not as good as Octopath Traveler 2, of course, but still a very, very good game, and for $24, not a bad pickup. You know, this is one of those games I wish got a physical release, but it is what it is. Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, the bundle, 60% off for $39.99. RDR1 did get the PlayStation 5 upgrade, so you can now play it on PS5 and natively on PS5, and it's got some bonuses, enhancements, things of that nature. Red Dead 2, the game is still goated. However, we are waiting for that upgrade, and I feel like we've been waiting for a while now, years and years, but fingers crossed that 2026 ahead of Grand Theft Auto 6. It would be great if Red Dead Redemption 2 finally got an upgrade. That would be incredible, but $39.99 for that bundle, quite good there. I'll give a shout to Days Gone Remastered. It's 40% off for $29.99. Obviously, this remastered release came out, and it gives them the ability to artificially juice up the value of these games, so to speak. Days Gone is a great game. I just hate, like, when you actually think about it, Days Gone Remastered, the fact Days Gone got this upgraded release really annoys me because Days Gone came out in 2019. It was a game that a lot of the core PlayStation audience really loved. But commercially and critically, it didn't do at the level that PlayStation wanted. Ben's studio was spun. Whether PlayStation decided it, Ben's studio decided, I don't care. I'm not here to argue about that. It was decided Ben's studio is gonna work on a live service game. Nobody really wanted that. For 6 years, they worked on this live service game only for it to get canceled, and oh, what are we gonna do now? We need to monetize Ben Studios' work somehow. Let's just remaster Days Gone. You didn't get the sequel, but what you got is the upgraded release. Just think about it when you actually assess the situation surrounding this game and the greater context of what happened at Ben Studio. It absolutely is infuriating, but it shouldn't be taken out of the quality level of Days Gone. Days Gone is a fantastic open-world action game. Do I put it at the level of the absolute best PlayStation exclusives? No. But do I think it's a pretty darn good game in its own right? Yeah, I do. And for $29.99, not an amazing pickup, but you do have the bonus content in the game as well, so there is that. $29.99, you can check that out. Shinobi Art of Vengeance Digital Deluxe Edition, 30% off for $28. Man, I don't think this game should have been in the, as a contender for Game of the Year or anything like that, but as far as games that I enjoyed this year, Shinobi Art of Vengeance is definitely higher up on the list than I think a lot of you would think. I really enjoyed this game as an action platformer with an awesome art style, a great soundtrack, and just good gameplay. Sure, some of the platforming got absolutely infuriating in the game, but overall, I had a great time with Shinobi Art of Vengeance, and I would highly recommend it. For $28 with the Deluxe Edition, you get the DLC as well. I think it's a pretty good pickup, so definitely would recommend that. Had a great time with it, and if you want to wait for it to get cheaper, I can understand that as well, but if you're into action platformers, definitely a good buy there. Granblue Fantasy Relink is 60% off for $23.99. Great action RPG. Narratively, it's a little bit disjointed because it kind of just drops you into the Granblue world, but I still had a great time with this game, and the art style is great, the gameplay is enjoyable, and you know, unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of post-launch updates, which was a bit of a bummer, especially with how well this game did, but you know, for what it is, I think $24 is a good price on that. Monster Hunter Stories, the Deluxe Collection, is $24.49. Wanted to give this a shout because we are coming up on the release of Monster Hunter Stories 3 in 2026. It'll be coming out in March, and I think that game looks awesome. Stories 1 and 2, do keep in mind, Stories 1 was initially a 3DS game. Stories 2 was available on the Nintendo Switch, so, you know, visually, they're not going to be blow-away titles, but I think Stories from an art style standpoint, that's really where it does well, and $24.49 for both games, I think is a pretty solid deal. When the games were initially released, they were a little bit more expensive, but I think both games at this price is a solid pickup. And lastly, we do have a Plague Tale bundle. You got Plague Tale Innocence and Plague Tale Requiem, both titles for $28. Obviously, that's a really good buy. I've glazed a Plague Tale Innocence and Requiem quite a lot. It's a great set of games, and we do have another Plague Tale title coming out in 2026, so be looking forward to that. But for now, if you haven't played Innocence and Requiem, $28 on that. But that is going to do it for me. Again, Game Award sale should be kicking off tomorrow. On top of that, you will have the PlayStation Holiday Sale kicking off at the end of this month. We'll give a lot of insight on that closer to it dropping and whatnot, and a lot of good deals available on more expensive titles. Links to all of these in the description box below. That'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.